Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of This Time Around. And I have a good friend with me. We've been talking about doing this for well over a year, right, Julie?
Yes, we have.
Julie Wright, my friend from Connecting Consciousness and my friend from life, from probably eons. Because we believe in all kinds of woo-woo wacky wonderful things.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Oh my gosh, it's magical. It's every everything is possible. Everything is possible. Well, I know we're going to talk about frequency, and I don't know what else we're going to talk about, but it'll all tie together. Well, tell us, just go ahead and introduce yourself in your way, Julie.
Okay.
Julie Wright.
Um, I'm Julie Wright. I was born in Maryland. I moved to Alabama in 2007. Um, my whole career, I've been a I started as a software engineer, changed to a systems engineer. Um, my career has been in unmanned air systems.
In what?
Unmanned air systems.
Oh my gosh.
But I've always had, I, I never felt that was my calling per se. I, I guess I used it as a means to just help people, either financially with my family or occasionally. I worked for friends usually. And if I felt like they were in a difficult spot, I always felt like I showed up for a reason, um, where they needed insight into things they could not see what was happening. But that hasn't been fulfilling enough for me. And so in the last 5 years, I have been studying frequency technologies and um, I'm just obsessed with it. There's so much. We're at a point in time where things that seemed to be woo woo
Uh-huh.
are scientifically proven now.
Good, good,
Um,
good.
they may not always know why. In fact, I'll get into that right as soon as I'm done, just giving you a background. But anyway, I just became obsessed with this frequency technology and the ability to. It's like an opera singer when they can sing at the frequency of a glass and they can shatter a glass. Well, it works very similarly with frequency technologies. You can target specific cells, say, and I'm not a doctor, so, anything I say is just opinions and um, things gathered on the internet. You need to do your own research. But with frequencies, Rife, which is the most popular one,
By
the
your last
term
name, right?
Rife, Rife,
Oh, Rife. Okay.
Rife frequencies. He has a whole list of frequencies for particular ailments, cancer cells or any kind of ailment, really, that he designed a Rife machine that emitted frequencies um, that he could command. And while these studies are not probably as strict as we would have done now, um, he did have studies that showed which frequencies matched these cells, which could be then destroyed. And and so I just became fascinated with that, and I could not get it out of my head. I mean, I could
Mm-hmm.
stay up all night researching this stuff. And to the point that I was in, I still do systems engineering work for unmanned systems. And I was meeting with a client, a potential client. So the person I work for set this meeting up, and this guy's asking me, what, what do I love to do? And I'm sitting in front of him thinking, I love my frequency stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, I got to get my act together here because he doesn't want to hear about that. And so I said, what has always driven me in my career is I just like to help people. So, whatever skills I have that can help somebody, that's what I want to use. So, at any rate, at that point, I realized I need to make some changes at some point in the very near future because I can't keep denying my calling. So,
Yeah, well, I think it's coming to us, you know. I don't think it's only that I think it's easier now. It's easier now and more people I think more people want to hear, need to hear. Things are opening up for us to be able to kind of say those things. I mean, I just think the world is it's coming. I think things are coming toward us to do that.
agreed. The world is ready. It's
Mhm.
too much. So, for instance, the one of the machines I have, and a lot of machines, you'll probably if you research it, you'll read that they do remote. And for an engineer mind, that's like, what does that mean? How can I do that remotely? And they, in fact, have determined that if you take your DNA and separate it from you, and they stimulate you or the DNA, that same thing happens to the thing that's not being directly stimulated. And they can move that DNA 3,000 miles away and they still get a reaction out of the DNA. And what they've said is that that is quantum physics, and I'm by no means
Quantum
a quantum
physics. Yeah.
quantum physics expert, but the quantum physicists don't know why it works. They just know that it does.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts to make you think about, when I take the hair out of my hairbrush and I stick it in the trash and that goes to the landfill. I'm not, I start thinking now maybe I should just go bury it and out in the yard.
Oh man. Yeah.
but but that would definitely have been considered way woo woo years ago.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I've been woo woo for so many years. I don't even I mean, I went and studied humanistic psychology when a lot of people really weren't so into it or talking about it, but that was in the late 70s and that had lots and lots of things in metaphysics in the 70s and 60s and but I'm thinking Larry Dossey. You know who Larry Dossey is? Julie, do you know who Larry Dossey is? Hmm.
I lost you there for
Okay.
just a second.
Do you know who Larry Dossey is?
No.
Okay. Larry Dossey, I think he's a doctor, a cardiologist, I believe. And I think his first book was called Healing Words, but he has several other books. And um, I think somebody asked him for prayer before surgery. And he felt really kind of self-conscious about it, but he did it. And then he started kind of doing it quietly with people who wanted it and quietly, maybe not always saying anything, but Well, then it ended up that he started researching it and the effects of it, whether people were in person or whether it was distance and whether people wanted it or didn't want it. And there was a lot of, research to show there were some people that loved it even if they weren't there. They loved it remotely. And then there were people who did not like it and didn't give permission, and there were people who prayed for negative things to happen to people. And that's kind of interesting. But he ended up studying more about non-local healing and, quantum physics. When I think of quantum physics, I also think of Cynthia Sue Larson. Have you read any of her
Mm-mm.
material? Reality, I think it's realityshifters.com. I think it's Reality Shifters. She did a book called Quantum Jumping, and I think she's got some other books. And she's just incredible. I need to reach out to her. She's just a wonderful person and speaker. And she's done with tons and tons of research on all of this. And I think she is a physicist. Um, and her phrase is, how good can it get? She keeps using that phrase. How good can it get? How good can it get? So you talked about Rife.
Hmm.
Do you have a Rife machine?
I do. It's
I've
called,
never been in one. Hmm?
well, it's actually a basically a transmitter.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess that's sort of um, probably why I have an engineering background. um, because that has helped me to understand the deeply understand the technology that's being used. So basically, when you have a frequency device, it has an ability to transmit these frequencies. And we use this in unmanned systems all the time for various things. But in a Wright machine, it's it can be as small as something that fits in the palm of your hand. That that device I have is a Biometis device. I don't know that that one is available any longer, but they now make something called an Atom, but it looks almost the same. But inside that little palm held device is two radios. I also have one that has three radios. And basically, they all, depending on what program you select, it might be use one to all the radios. It depends on what it is. Um, um, but the Spooky 2 that I have is a bit larger. So, and think of it this way, the smaller devices are not going to be as powerful, okay,
Hmm.
because they got really tiny radios in them.
Hmm.
And then so my Spooky 2 is a little bit bigger. And that is, in fact, I was going to see if I could hold that one up, but it's about as big as like a small radio you used to use years ago for
Like
the real radio, right? It's
yeah,
about that
transistor. Yeah.
size. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it has inputs and outputs. So, or it has output device ports on it. And I can connect, like I have a little, they call it a booster. So it's something that boosts the signal. And connected to that is what they call a remote device. And it just is, it connects into a BNC port. And I put my DNA in there and I can run that program remotely. This device hooks onto my PC and it has a whole bunch of programs from all around the world. It's a fairly popular device and it has several um, groups on Facebook that you can belong to. and ask questions and things. And but you can search for whatever ailment you're trying to target in the software that comes with it, and it will load that those programs that you select. You can select multiples. Suppose I have a backache and I have a headache, I could put both of those in there. Um, uh, and run them, back to back. But you shouldn't leave it on like all the time.
Hmm.
You need to give your body a break.
Yeah.
But it also, the transmitter I have will plug into what they call Spooky 2 Central, which is an amplifier. And that's even more powerful. It's probably one of the most powerful you can get in, for relatively low price,
Hmm.
considering. But it also allows you to plug in plasma attachments, which is even more powerful. So, so that's the Rife machines that I have. I also have something called an iTaurus, and I have the whole house iTaurus, and it is what they call a PEMF tachyon um, device. It's basically, there's a software on your phone. You can download programs for PEMF healing, and PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic um, fielding, and it basically um, you can play it just on its own. It uses sound to emit that frequency, and you can search for different ailments again. Like I started using it for my dogs, and they have, it's the only device I've found so far that has a program for mast cells. And I've had a dog that passed from mast cell tumor, and so now I play it for my other dogs. But the sound can be very annoying. It uses various frequencies, and so one of my dogs doesn't like it. So I bought this
Hmm.
thing I plug my phone into, and you no longer hear it, but it's emitting that frequency from the device.
But dogs can hear a lot of things we don't hear. Do you know that the dogs don't hear it? Or
Uh, well, I don't know. I'll find out. I actually just received it,
okay.
and it did not come with the proper cable for my phone, so I have not used it. But she probably won't like it. But it's a whole house one, so she's not going to be able to get away from it.
Now that's with the software in your phone and this other device, or could somebody just with a phone use
Just
it?
with the phone, you can. Now they have some free
Oh.
frequencies that are more for relaxation and things. So you can download the app and use the free ones. But I have the paid one, which is like $9.99 a month,
Hmm.
and it
I'd
has
love to.
I just don't know how many programs it has in it, but it's
Wow.
many, many.
Oh, give me that again or send me. I mean, I can put it in the show notes.
Okay, I will
Send me
send that
anything.
to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow,
But
that's
it's pretty cool.
fascinating. So what have you noticed? Where have you noticed shifts or changes?
Um, Using the
Any of it.
frequencies.
Well,
Okay.
any of it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say the first time, um, when I first got my Biometis device, I had a headache, and it has a program for a headache. And I put it on that. 15 minutes later, the headache was gone.
Mm, I love it.
So um, I've used it on my back, um, but I also go to a chiropractor. But some things they can't necessarily fix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've
But the
used,
headache went, yeah.
yeah, the headache did go away. The back problems did go away too. Um, that's been an ongoing issue. So I keep running my spooky 2 on that. I most recently I'm trying the spooky 2 on my blood sugar. Um, and it's at least maintaining it. Uh, it's still not where I want it to be. But I think what's important to realize is that, and this is one reason why I've started studying naturopathy.
Oh,
And
yes.
because I feel like you can't just use one modality,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
There's so many modalities out there. And I'm not going to just turn on, it's not like a magic pill, right? I'm not going to just do my frequency thing and eat what I want, drink what I want, and find lasting results, right? it's a it's really about taking care of your whole body and your mind and your spirit, and where these things will work. And you also have to believe that they'll work, because I think you've been to Susamino's,
Oh, yeah, a lot.
right? Well, she did a thing recently
Hmm.
for health.
Yes.
And during that, I think it was during that session, she said that 40% of healing comes completely from the mind.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter what modality we use if our mind isn't in line.
That's right.
And I
Yeah.
think you were basically, when you're talking about the guy who was um,
Larry Dossi.
yeah, Larry Dossi, where he's
Hmm.
talking about voice, what you're saying, that all that's critical to any
Hmm.
kind of healing. If I don't believe it and I'm not
Right.
saying it to myself, nothing will work. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's so true. I keep, when I have healing that happens, when I have things that happen, I still question, is it the technique? Because I use just sometimes I think it's the breath, it's Reiki, it's EFT. When I use any of that, I think, is it one or the other? Or is it also just giving it permission and allowing it to work and being in the driver's seat? Because I have a feeling that our thought, the power of our thought, is probably exponentially at least as important, if not more important than any of these other things. I mean, I think I wouldn't say that I could just go on the power of thought only and not use any other tools, but I think the power of thought is huge.
I do too, but I do believe that you could do it just by thought. I
Mm,
think that
yeah.
we aren't yet evolved enough, maybe. Some of us are, some of us aren't. We're all at different stages.
Hmm.
That we aren't, we not, sometimes do need help. And one of the things, back to what you were saying about prayer. So for a while there, you know, in our group, we all talk about what what I don't want to get anything in trouble here. What big companies might say, or
Hmm.
what they might be putting in things that we take or whatever, and we can sometimes be very negative about it. And I started thinking about that. So if I have some medication that I'm taking, um, before I take it, I will say a prayer over it,
Hmm.
because first of all, I might as well not take it at all if I'm going to be negative about it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And while I don't agree, I am moving towards not using any medication whatsoever.
Okay.
I just can't I can't run there. I'm slowly coming off of it. But if I do take it, I do say a prayer because and I say only let what's right for my divine self come into my body
Mm-hmm.
and heal me.
Mm-hmm.
And because I do believe we also have the power to reject things that may be hidden, and our minds can figure this out. Our mind and our body is much smarter than our conscious mind is.
Yeah, our whole mind, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, one of the very first New Thought metaphysical ministers I really ever had was in Unity. His name was Charles Lilly, and he was a pharmacist. And somehow in that role, he kept getting that inner nudge, kind of like you talk about. And he eventually let that go and he became a minister of New Thought and worked and talked about how he could just speak his way into healing taking place. And I don't think that was unity teaching, but he was able to say that he knew that worked. And yet, he had other things going on at times where he needed to enlist the help of medicine. I mean, I don't think, like you said, I don't think that this is well, because I have spirit in me, I can do everything and I don't need anybody. I think we all need each other, not in I need you to complete me, but in another way, if we're all pieces of the puzzle, if we're all pieces of something larger, well, then we all can assist each other. And so we can have the assistance of many tools, many different kinds of ways. Now, I think you also talked about in our other group, I think you also talked about do you also work with the shaman?
I do.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably hadn't talked to you about the last time.
Oh,
So the
I may
first
have to.
time I went to her was because of a abscess in my tooth. And a dentist's only answer is always, oh, well, you have to have a root canal. And I don't know, something was telling me, no, you don't need a root canal. And uh, my fiance's father had died, and we were uh, in Huntsville, Arkansas, actually.
Mm,
and they lived, he grew up out, his dad grew up out in the Ozarks, which is, that was an experience for me.
yeah.
There's nothing there. Anyway, um, I miraculously, so while this is happening, uh, we have to go out there a few days early to get ready for his funeral and stuff. And I have this problem in my tooth and it's just getting worse. And I miraculously find this holistic, or, well, I shouldn't call her holistic, but she was definitely awake. And she had all kinds of alternative things. She was a nurse practitioner, but she saw me and she says, well, it's just the stress of everything that's happened. It culminated, and then this came out. So she gave me an antibiotic, which, because I needed something quickly,
Hmm.
because we had the funeral and everything to go to. And anyway, I came back home after that and I could not get rid of this abscess. And I mean, it subsided with the antibiotic, but it wasn't gone. So I went to the shaman and she worked on me, and it dramatically improved. Now, she did give me a couple homeopathic things to take, and also recommended an ozone gel
Oh,
that you
yeah. Oh,
use on.
gel. Interesting.
Anyway, that worked for a while. I mean, it seemed to have gone, and then I got something stuck in there, and it restarted.
Oh.
So, anyway, I had needed to go back to her, but I kind of felt like a schoolgirl who didn't do all her homework, and she had to go back to the teacher and tell her she didn't do it all. anyway, anyway, I procrastinated on it until just a few weeks ago. I had a gout flare
Oh
up
my gosh.
that
Okay.
was so painful that I've never been through that. I
Never
couldn't.
had gout before?
I I've had little bit,
Okay.
but I take tart cherry for it
Oh,
regularly and
okay.
things.
Okay.
But and so I seem to keep it at bay. But for what this was probably a universe thing because to get me back there.
Okay.
So
All right.
so
Yeah.
because I'm looking at my foot, I can't get a shoe on. It's swollen up so bad that I'm afraid that I got like whether it's cellulitis or whatever they call it
Oh.
when they I'm starting to worry, but I don't want to go to the hospital because
Mm.
I don't trust it. So
Yeah.
I make an appointment with her, and within 24 hours after I leave there, my foot is I can put my shoe on and I have no problem.
Wow.
And again, she gave me some homeopathics, but I hadn't gotten them yet. It takes 2 days for you to get them from
Hmm.
someplace like Amazon or whatever.
Okay.
So this was just purely her working on my foot, and
How does
and
she work on it? Is she just holding it? Is she
she
doing
doesn't really touch much. She
okay.
uses her fingers, and she's doing energy work.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch her. Um, but if you're familiar with, there's different types of shamans.
Mm-hmm.
Hers comes from Nordic Finnish, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's working with gods and goddesses.
Oh, so
Um,
good.
uh, but she just, she's almost doing what you would call, uh, is it called surgery? It's through her
Psychic
mind,
surgery?
psychic surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cleaning
Oh.
out the crystals.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And, that foot looks better now than it ever has.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
I keep
gosh.
looking at my other foot thinking I should have her do something on the other foot.
One source for homeopathics that I know of is called historicalremedies.com. I don't know if you've
Okay.
ever heard of them.
I have not, and I
Okay.
will look into it.
Yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Like I like them, but I don't know of other places, so how they compare. But I
Okay.
know they've been out there a long time.
I will try them
Hmm.
because I want to, I need a source at some point. Um, what's funny is there was a synchronistic event that occurred. So because I knew it took 2 days for me to get them, I left her office and I'm sitting in my car and I'm ordering it and I get everything ordered and then I go home. Well, I get my order and one of the things I didn't order, or at least I thought I didn't order it. It wasn't the right thing. Let's just say that. And I'm irritated and I go on and I order the right thing. And so then my fiance, he had a back issue that he'd been going to the chiropractor for, and I was doing light therapy, various things on it, but basically almost became incapacitated. And I said, well, I'll just look up some homeopathic stuff for this. Well, the very first thing that comes up is the exact thing that I mistakenly ordered. When I saw that, I thought, okay, I guess this is the one. I ended up ordering a second one, and that one actually was to address back spasms. And And
Hmm.
I also ordered some gel, which was an
Mm.
arnica gel.
Yes.
Now, arnica, if you take it, that plant is actually poisonous to us. And a
Mm.
lot of things in homeopathy, they might be in large quantities, they might not be good for us.
Right. But a
Um,
little, yeah.
but and that one you could take in pill form, but I happened to buy the gel, and that was a major breakthrough. That and the homeopathics I gave him. So
Hmm. Wow, that's phenomenal. And so, do you end up going to the shaman often or just
I'm starting to go to her regularly now,
okay?
uh, because I want to get off my medication.
Okay.
And I am running my spooky too, but one of the what I really need to do is the spooky with the frequency technology. It can, it has a mode where it can, what do you call it? It can, it can send out frequencies and it listens to what's coming back. I apologize. Um, anyway, it can send out frequencies and it can listen to what's coming back. So it saves these things, right? Um, so let's say I don't quite know what I need to put my spooky 2 frequency on. It can figure it out. Now, in my opinion, the way the spooky 2 works is a little more crude than some of the other machines. Some of my friends have much more expensive machines that can do some diagnostics. But
Interesting. So, speaking of listening, here's something else that I really wonder what you think because I th- I'm really wondering. I think there's a fine line, and I don't know always where it is between. I mean, because I think everything's listening. I think everything and everywhere, the earth is listening.
mhm.
Everything's alive. Our computers are listening, our phones are listening, but everything in the atmosphere is listening. And so I think the law of attraction is a lot bigger than I ever used to think. I used to think that was just sort of trendy language, but it's very real. And so where's the fine line? Because sometimes um, people will try every which way not to say what's bothering them because they don't want to magnify it or draw more of it to them. And then some will say it and say it and say it and say it and say it. Um, and the other day I was in a meeting and a lot of things got said that had been bottled up by a lot of people and or by some people and there was someone who felt like, oh, this is criticism and it really hurts, and there were other people who felt like, thank you, I'm glad things are finally being said. And then there was one person who had the feeling of, okay, it's been said, now don't talk anymore about it. And I remember my mother doing that to me once. Okay, it's been said, now don't talk anymore about it. What what's your way of thinking on this? Because I think we've actually had some discussions about this before, but what's your fine line about it?
Well, I think there's a couple different things going on in what you said. So, um, the people that are saying, so it's making people feel uncomfortable when it's being said, right? And
Hmm.
I think there is I don't know, have you ever heard of Germanic healing?
Germanic healing. No.
Okay. It's what Danny Carroll practices,
Okay.
right? I forget the man who Hamner it might have been, who
Okay.
started it, but he basically, when it came to health, his theory is that every single health issue is rooted in emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um, and and then I'm gonna oversimplify it here,
Okay.
but essentially, if I say it out loud, what that emotion is, what's bottled up, it will release it,
Ah, okay.
right? So, and he gives you a free PDF. It's worth people going there and looking at it
Mm,
because
mm,
um, I think that is a tie into what you're saying. Basically, things do need to be said out loud,
mm-hmm.
right? Now, if I've got an issue with someone, I've had a lot of leadership training. And one of the things that we were taught is that when you have feedback for a particular person and you need to ask, are you ready to hear this feedback? It makes it a little bit easier for them to listen to, even when it's really harsh. And I've had someone do that to me before, and it was some good advice, good feedback. I wasn't exactly proud, it wasn't a proud moment for me, but I did learn something from it. But so it's harder in this group situation that you're talking about because you've got a different emotion from every single person in there. And the
Mm-hmm.
people that don't want to talk about it is it's made them feel uncomfortable and they don't want to keep going through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also not good to dwell in it because we've seen that before,
Right. Right.
right?
Yes, we have.
That turns into grudges and
Mm-hmm.
it's not it's not healthy for the individual that's harboring it.
Right.
um
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
I think communication is really important, and
Mm-hmm.
and things do need to be said out loud.
Yeah, and going around it isn't always, or kind of trying to deal with everything but
Right.
the thing. Yeah.
I don't know
Interesting.
if that answers your question
Yeah,
or but
yeah. Well, because I think, you and I have seen it with people where something did need to come out and then where it was it was continuing to be talked about too much.
no.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and like you said, harboring it. And I mean, I think talking about it is important, and then we don't need to keep attracting it. And also, things can get um, kind of twisted, and there can be selective memory. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that telephone game. I think that's an interesting game for adults to play, where you start something in a circle and see if what it comes back to being at the end of the circle is what it started out to be. And often in just a few minutes, it's different. It's not at It's not at
True.
all how it sounded. Yeah, or how it started. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. Well, this is really very interesting. So, you've got all these different things going on and you're using them with yourself and with your dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got some of that going a lot of the time, the music kind of thing.
Yes. Actually, I don't play it all day, but if we lay down for a nap, I'll play the PMF app on the Mass Cell program for them, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
pick various things that are going on. I mean, they are getting older, and I guess it's something I don't, I know they can't live forever. I just, I,
Mm.
I can't stand things like cancer because I don't believe anybody should be
Right.
dying of cancer anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me, that's long been known, regardless of what our medical
Mm-hmm.
community is acting like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we should be able to move beyond all that. Um,
Hmm.
and the thing, I mean, I'm noticing more people talking about frequency healing. I heard Joni Patry, Vedic astrologer, saying that it's going to be huge, coming out more in May. And I use FLFE, Focus Life Force Energy, and I think I told you about that a long time ago. I use Life Wave patches, and FLFE says you can, they give you a control panel and you can try it, even try it for a couple of weeks on a device or on your house. And you can turn it on and turn it off and see how it is. And if it's so intense and you need to turn it down, you can do that. And LifeWave with their patches, especially with like X39, they say, wear it for 12 hours and then take it off and give your body a chance. I think it's also give your body a chance to to do it, to do the to have the use the energy, use the not only rest in it, but to move with that energy, kind of like using the patches to jumpstart, and then the body kind of taking over in its own natural way. I kind of get that impression, but not to stop using them, just to use them for half the time. Um, so anyway, I mean, I just think there's going to be more and more and more. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Dave Asprey?
No.
I think it's Asprey. I think he pronounces it Asprey.
Okay.
He calls himself a biohacker.
Okay.
And he says he started the biohacking movement, and there's some kind of big conference coming up. And I follow his podcast. I'm trying to remember the name of it, um, about the upgraded human or something like that. But he's out there on as a podcast, and he's also out there on YouTube. If you look for Dave Asprey, Asprey, and Dave or David Asprey, he's an interesting guy. He says he had Asperger's as a child and grew out of it by biohacking, and he he started the bulletproof diet. He came up with that, and then I think he sold all that. But I heard him years ago when he read the book, The Bulletproof Diet, and I heard him on a podcast I don't know, maybe like 12 or 14 years ago, and he sounds completely different now. Like he has continued to discover things and do all kinds of stuff and learn, and he has very interesting guests on there. And I also ran across a book recently by Tony Robbins called Life Force. And now what he's got a lot of physicians that he's working with that are now bringing out a lot more things that have to do with healing and um, ways of, dealing with cancer and other things. But he's doing it with other medical people. And so I always question, well, when there's that medical influence, how free is that really? But then again, it may be that it's ushering in a whole lot more through the medical industry, in spite of the people that maybe haven't wanted some of those new ways to come in because they don't want to interrupt big business. But he talks about the pharmaceuticals, how it's gotten to be more about keeping people dependent on prescriptions, and it keeps the money flowing, and how doctors were told that opioids would help patients and weren't told about how addictive they might become. And so, he's out there, he's open about a lot of things. So anyway, that's just a couple of things I found lately. But David Asprey, I would highly, highly recommend. I love to listen to him
Yeah,
talk
I'll
about.
have to look him up.
Yeah, and I think the Life Force book on with Tony Robbins, I think it's free out there. I saw it on Facebook,
Okay.
and um, so anyway, um,
Well, when it comes to frequencies, even the light therapy. So I have purchased some light therapy equipment that I'm planning on using.
is that
Um,
infrared?
both infrared and red and blue.
Hmm.
So, which, uh, so there's a modality out there called chromotherapy, right?
Chroma?
Chromotherapy
Okay.
for color, right?
Okay.
So there is a relationship between chromotherapy and these light therapy technology, and but they're a little bit different. And I still got to research this some, but the color itself has a frequency to it. It's just inherent in the color.
Mm.
So even wearing certain colors or making your room certain colors can have an impact,
I think that's true.
right? And but you can also purchase these technologies that run at a particular frequency and emit certain red or infrared. So um, and the
Hmm.
the color, so the near and the regular red light from one of these devices operates at a particular end of the frequency. I think it ranges from between like 650, uh, I forget what the unit is, but to 800 and something, 850 maybe. Um, but it actually has to do with the depth at which it will uh, penetrate your skin. So near infrared penetrates deeper. And so if you look at I might even have the thing here, but if you look at the frequency, it will say, um, will actually say that so the near infrared will speed up the healing process, where the literature will say the regular red will help the healing process.
Hmm.
So the near infrared is getting deeper into your tissues.
Wow.
So, but it all leads back to frequency. Every single thing I follow, and the same thing with the homeopathics. It's the frequency of the herbs that they're
Hmm.
dealing with, right? It is everything. It,
Hmm.
the
It
how we
is.
interact,
Sure.
our frequent we're operating at a frequency.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and there's another podcast that I follow, and I should find it and put it. I mean, I'm really wanting you to send me anything that you've talked about so I can
I
build show
will.
notes. But this other one is also about sound as it's all about sound bowls and sound frequency, and it's a podcast, and he's got all kinds of training in there, but even a lot about the human voice. And I knew somebody else that used to talk about everybody's voice is in a different key, and knowing what key your voice is, and learning to listen to the voice to know where somebody is needing healing. And a lot of
Mm,
things about that. It's fascinating.
that is
I mean,
fascinating.
I just think it's like if you look at they used to say if you look at the eye in iridology, Is that what that is?
That is going to be part of my naturopathy courses.
And I mean, there are lots of parts of the body that show the whole body, like the ear, the outside of the ear is kind of like the upside down, like the head of the person is really in the earlobe or something, and the
Okay.
spine of the body is along the long spine part of the back of the ear, and the whole being in the foot and in the eye and in the colon. And I mean, I've just over and over and over heard some of these things. And again, it's like law of attraction and, well, the presence, the spirit, the life force, the whatever you want to call it, you know, it's everywhere. And so, of course, it's
Mm-hmm.
always going to respond. And I mean, it's just such an exciting time to be alive.
It is.
It really is. So, how far are you with your home naturopathy?
I
Nature.
just started. I'm on my fifth week,
Ooh.
so I got a ways to go. But
Or,
it's it's. I feel like it'll give me a more well-rounded
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
approach to things. That I'll be more aware of other modalities. Um,
mm-hmm. Will you be a naturopathic practitioner or a physician or, you
there's
know?
there. Well, that's a lot of what the first 4 weeks talks about is the legalities, how
Mhm,
to stay in my lane.
mhm,
Um, so and not to get into the medical lane. Here in Alabama, because it is not a licensed uh,
mhm,
thing, you can you can adopt the title after I get my certified traditional naturopath. I can get board certified and I can use um, that term naturopathic doctor if I wanted to.
uh-huh,
But
uh-huh,
one of the things they were talking about is you know, let's not try to pretend like we're doctors, right? And not
mhm,
because it's not the same thing and you don't want to mislead somebody. So
mhm,
I'm not sure that I will adopt that. I'm perfectly fine with a certified traditional naturopath. And
mhm,
the reason why is something that I've learned. So there's 7 schools that offer degreed naturopathic doctors
mhm,
diplomas, right?
mhm,
But those diplomas are tied to the American Medical Association and they can prescribe pharmaceuticals.
mhm,
Well, if there's one thing that's clear, a naturopath, a true naturopath does not prescribe medicine.
mhm,
So to me, it's actually a problem that they're calling themselves naturopathic doctors and prescribing pharmaceuticals. That is misleading.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Gotcha.
so
Mm-hmm.
so I probably won't choose the doctor title because I don't want to be confused as being one of them either.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not
Makes
going to do
sense.
that. Now, at this point, I'm not like 100% against all pharmaceuticals. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think there has been some benefit gained by some, uh, some medication. Uh, but it's also not the first thing to run to for me anymore. And I decided when I started down this path, and I've been kind of my sister and I were joking about this, is that why we don't believe in what in uh, Western medicine, yet we keep going to the doctor pretending like we believe this, and we don't. And so,
Huh?
right, it's like I don't want to let go because what if I need that doctor? Well, I think there is a place for regular doctors. They sometimes surgery is needed. You know, you hurt yourself, you need to be sewn back up. That's not what
Mm.
a naturopath does.
Wow.
So we all have our roles. It's things got out of balance when it came to medications. Money started
They
to
have.
rule, right?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
but it will take for me to get through this coursework. It will take, I think it's 10 months, 10 months for this one, 9 months for the second one, and 4 months for the third one. So
Maybe. Yeah.
health
A lot. Yeah.
professional is what I am going for right now. And then the next level is certified holistic health practitioner. And the final is certified traditional naturopath.
Interesting.
So,
What is, or do you know what the difference is between a naturopath and a homeopath?
a homeopath is um, herbal, has to do with herbal medicine or herbal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call them herbs, because
Okay.
they're not. Yeah, we use. I don't like using the term medicine
Mm-hmm.
after I've been cautioned about it for 4 weeks last week. but
Although I see you as a medicine woman, but in a new old way.
but homeopathy is basically has to do with like versus like, or like cures like. So one of the things they were teaching us was about the history, and um, that someone had, this guy, I forget his name. I should know because I think I wrote about him. But he he was typing up some stuff from a study that someone had done about a homeopathic, uh, or a remedy for malaria. And I think from this, he developed a homeopathic solution just because he was writing about it and happened to be something that he was interested in. But I used to think that they were energetic, uh, uh, somehow entered. It was energy, because if you ever look at a homeopathic pill, it's just a tiny little round ball, so
Mm-hmm.
small. I'm trying to think of something that size, but it's not very big at all. So you think, well, why do we need these big pills when we take our vitamins and we can take this and this is just as strong, right? Well, it's the way they do the dilution process.
That's true. Yeah.
It's actually not diluting, it's actually making it stronger. They do it over and over and over again. It seems like it takes a long time to create. But at any rate, a naturopath is just someone that is using natural techniques and does not
Mm-hmm.
use surgery and does not use um, pharmaceuticals,
Okay.
just relies on herbs. So they would be using homeopathic solutions.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Wow. So they could and would use homeopathic solutions, but a homeopathic person or a homeopath is not going to necessarily use all the things that a naturopath would use.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, homeopathy is just about
One.
the herb,
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
technology.
Mm-hmm. Because I know I do the Bach flower remedies and they are prepared homeopathically.
Yes,
But they're not considered homeopathic, well, medicine, so to speak. They're not necessarily, I don't know that they're necessarily prescribed, but um, like I said, historical remedies has a lot of homeopathic prepared kinds of um, products, and various acupuncturists that I've been to have had them. Does your shaman also give them, or she sends you somewhere else to get them?
She sends me somewhere else to get them, but that is one thing I want to do is have fairly standard things in stock,
Uh-huh.
right?
Well,
So
yeah.
people don't have to run somewhere to get it because,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, then you can add them to what you offer. And she works remotely too, doesn't she?
she does.
But is it, I mean, I know if you get there in person, you get a hug, but is it one of those things where it's better for her to have the first session at least in person?
I don't think she would say that's true.
Okay. No.
I think it's more about your own comfort,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
maybe.
she's in Huntsville, isn't she?
She is North
Yeah.
Huntsville.
Yeah. I mean, that's
She
probably.
also, I believe, actually, she's part of what they call Holistic Wellness Collective.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there's several offices in this building that she's in, and
Mm-hmm.
in every office is a different modality.
Wow.
And so I, they have a lady in there. Her name's Emily. She is like started this with Callie, the
The shaman.
shaman,
Mm-hmm.
and there's several other women in there. But Emily is a gynecologist, or well, she's a nurse practitioner in the field of gynecology. And I've just switched to her, mainly because I thought if I'm going down this path of naturopathy, I need to walk the talk.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be running to my regular doctors. And plus, I'm a little bit irritated because my views about what I will do have changed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go get a mammogram anymore. I'm done with
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
First of all, that it's barbaric the way they do it.
It is. It had to have been invented by a man, Just okay, honey. Put your anatomy up on this now. Don't
That's
breathe.
exactly what I say.
Well, and
But
in in gynecology, I know they don't require pap smears of women that are over, I think it's over 65 now.
that's what she said. She
Yeah.
said that, and that's what I've learned is apparently the some doctors are not following the um, what the, actually what's called for. So
Hmm.
I actually only need to have a pap smear every 3 years,
Hmm.
not every year. My
Right.
doctors never said that to
No,
me.
they never said that to me either. And even about mammograms, I think they're not even saying they need to be every, what is it, 2 or 3 years now, even when they are, doing them. But they've been saying, oh no, every year. Well, it's
And a
much.
lot of it has to do with what your family history is
Mm-hmm.
too.
Right.
And
Right.
that's not taken into account at all.
No.
And and she's telling me this. She's saying she realizes these things. It's interesting. Now she doesn't, of course, accept insurance, and I have to use my HSA card. But I'm tired of being told that I have to go get this mammogram. And there's another woman in that same collective who does what they call uh, here.
Thermography.
Yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which I think I'm going to do that. You know, there's no
Mm-hmm.
need for all be radiated all the time.
No, no. I have a friend who's highly intuitive. I mean, he is some of the best reading I've ever had, and it wasn't a medical thing. He tuned into some childhood stuff of mine, and I was just so blown away. But he is a radiologist. He still feels that mammograms have their place over what thermography does, but he also recognizes that thermography can I think, find things a lot, a lot earlier. But he's been able to look at films and say, you know, I know this is saying that, you have this, but he'll say, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know. He's been able to advise, or he's been able to say, in my opinion, this is something you need to go see about, even if it didn't pick up on it. So I mean, his intuition is just incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful person, and just his psychic sense is just brilliant. Oh my God. Mm. Um,
Actually, we had a friend who was in our group who was talking about that uh, her husband had a, I think he had esophageal
hmm
cancer, and that the thermograph that they had gotten did show a possible problem in that area.
hmm
And what she said was, she asked the oncologist about that, and she said, would this have been helpful? And he said, well, we couldn't have done anything until it's a grade 0, which tells us everything we need to know about our medical system. It's not preventative, it's a reactionary system.
Yeah. So, yeah, tells you later. And I mean, I don't know where we are in, but it's said it even in the book that I'm teaching from at Jersey College, that uh, where we are in healthcare in this country, I don't know, are we like 37th or 39th in world healthcare? Because we we can fix lots of things, but we're not good at preventing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that I think it was 37th a few years ago, and I think it might have gone even lower. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's not, and even like some people say, oh, you think it's good to come to Canada and get what we have, but no, because there they wait forever, and you end up having to take what they give you and take it the way they give it to you, and you may not want that.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. But the changes, it's new and it's old. I mean, I think people back in the ancient days only relied on natural kinds of things. I know anytime I make a salve, it feels to me like such an old, wise way of doing something. Just
Mm-hmm.
really incredible. Well, this is wonderful. Wonderful. So I want you to send me anything that you want included. And if you want people to be able to contact you, is there anything you want to give out or you want to send?
Sure, I'll send it to you too. Um, I have a business Facebook page, and there's nothing on it right now, just so everybody realizes this. I'm just getting started. The universe is pushing me a little faster than I had originally anticipated. I was thinking 2 years, but I think this is all happening sooner
hmm
than that.
Gosh, yeah.
So my business name is Waves of Wellness,
Say that
and
again.
Waves of Wellness,
Waves of Wellness. Okay.
and I have a Gmail. It's waves of wellness for you at gmail.com.
And is it FORYOU
F-
for
yes,
you? Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yep.
All right. At Gmail. Very good. Well, send me everything, and boy, these are going to be great show notes. Really, really great. And anytime you want to come back and do this again, because we certainly
It
can.
was very enjoyable. I'd love to do it again.
Good. All right. Well, I'm going to stop this recording,
Okay.
and let's see. Is this it? No, that's not it.